Ever wondered how that chewy, salty snack known as beef jerky makes its way from a slab of meat to the tasty treat in your hand? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of beef jerky production. Get ready to see how factories turn raw beef into the perfect on-the-go snack. And trust me, it's more than just drying out meat. The journey starts with the star of the show, beef, but not just any beef. Factories typically use lean cuts like top round, bottom round, or sirloin. Why these cuts, you ask? Well, it's all about balance. These cuts have just the right amount of fat to keep the jerky flavorful without turning it into a greasy mess. Too much fat can spoil the jerky during the drying process, and too little can make it tough and tasteless. It's a delicate balance, and these cuts nail it perfectly. When the beef arrives at the factory, it undergoes a thorough inspection. Quality is key here. No one wants their jerky coming from anything less than top-notch beef. Inspectors check for freshness, color, and texture to ensure the meat meets the high standards required for making jerky. Any beef that doesn't pass the test is rejected. Only the best of the best moves on to the next stage. Once the beef passes inspection, it's time for trimming. This step is crucial because excess fat can cause problems during the drying process. Too much fat left on the meat can make the jerky spoil more quickly, and it can also make the texture unpleasantly greasy. Workers carefully trim away any extra fat, leaving behind lean, clean cuts that are perfect for jerky making. Next up, the beef is sliced into thin strips, and when I say thin, I mean it. These strips are usually cut about 1/4 of an inch thick, but here's a cool trick. The meat is partially frozen before slicing. Why? It helps get those nice uniform slices that dry evenly. No one wants a jerky that's dry on one end and chewy on the other. This step is often done by large industrial slicers that can handle massive amounts of meat, ensuring each strip is cut with precision. But let's talk about the science behind these thin slices. By slicing the meat thinly, factories increase the surface area of each piece, allowing it to dry more quickly and evenly. This is crucial because jerky needs to be dried thoroughly to be shelf-stable. If the slices were too thick, they'd take longer to dry, which could lead to inconsistencies in texture and taste. So, getting this step right is essential for making high-quality jerky. Now, onto the flavor. This is where the magic happens. The beef strips are tossed into a massive mixer where they're marinated in a flavorful blend of spices, salts, and sometimes a little sugar. Each factory has its own secret recipe, but common ingredients include soy sauce, garlic powder, onion powder, and black pepper. The beef strips soak up all these flavors for several hours, or even overnight. This step is crucial because it's what gives each piece of jerky that rich, savory taste. Let's dive a bit deeper into the marination process. The marinade not only adds flavor, but also plays a role in preserving the meat. Salt is a key ingredient here. It draws out moisture from the beef, which helps prevent bacteria from growing. This is one of the reasons jerky has such a long shelf life. In addition to salt, ingredients like soy sauce add umami, while sugar helps balance the flavors and can even contribute to the browning of the meat during drying. But it's not just about dumping the ingredients together and hoping for the best. The marinating process is carefully controlled. The beef strips need to be fully coated in the marinade, and the mixture needs to be just right. Not too salty, not too sweet. Factories often use large tumblers or mixers that gently toss the meat in the marinade, ensuring every piece is evenly coated. This process can take several hours, allowing the flavors to really penetrate the meat. After marinating, the beef strips are laid out on large racks. These racks are designed to allow air to circulate around each piece, which is key for the drying process. The layout is crucial. If the strips are too close together, they won't dry evenly. Factories use specially designed trays with enough space between each piece to ensure optimal airflow. This step might seem simple, but it's actually critical to achieving that perfect jerky texture. Before the strips hit the dryers, some factories add an extra step: smoking. The beef is exposed to wood smoke, often from hickory or mesquite, which infuses the meat with a deep, smoky flavor. Not every factory does this, but when they do, it adds a whole new level of deliciousness. The smoking process can vary depending on the flavor profile the factory is aiming for. Some use heavy smoke for a bold flavor, while others go lighter for just a hint of smokiness. The smoking process isn't just about flavor, though. It also helps with the preservation of the meat. The smoke contains compounds that have antimicrobial properties, which can further extend the shelf life of the jerky. Plus, the smoke helps to form a beautiful color on the surface of the meat, making the final product even more appetizing. Now, it's time for the main event, the drying process. The racks of beef strips are moved into large industrial ovens or dehydrators. These machines circulate hot air around the meat, slowly removing moisture over several hours. The temperature and time are carefully controlled because too much heat can cook the meat, while too little won't dry it out properly. The goal is to evaporate just enough moisture to preserve the meat without making it too brittle. Drying is the longest step in the jerky making process. It can take anywhere from 4 to 12 hours, depending on the thickness of the slices and the desired texture of the final product. During this time, the meat undergoes a transformation. As moisture evaporates, the flavors concentrate and the meat becomes firmer and chewier. This is where that classic jerky texture is created. But here's a fun fact. Some factories use different drying methods depending on the type of jerky they're making. For example, traditional beef jerky might be dried using a low and slow method, while other varieties like biltong might be air-dried without any heat. Each method creates a unique texture and flavor profile, giving jerky lovers a wide range of options to choose from. As the beef dries, it transforms from raw meat into jerky. This process not only concentrates the flavors, but also makes the jerky safe to eat by preventing the growth of bacteria. Once the beef has dried to perfection, it's time for a final quality check. Workers inspect the jerky to ensure it has the right texture, color, and moisture level. Any pieces that don't meet the standards are tossed out. The approved jerky is then cut into smaller, more manageable pieces if needed. Quality control doesn't stop there. Factories often run tests to check the moisture content of the jerky, making sure it's within the right range. If it's too moist, the jerky might spoil. If it's too dry, it might be too tough to enjoy. These tests are crucial for ensuring that the jerky is safe, tasty, and has a long shelf life. Finally, the jerky is packaged to keep it fresh. The packaging often includes oxygen absorbers to extend shelf life, ensuring that when you open a bag, the jerky is just as tasty as the day it was made. Some packages are vacuum sealed, while others are filled with nitrogen gas to prevent oxidation. Either way, the goal is to keep that jerky delicious for as long as possible. Packaging is a science in itself. The right packaging keeps out air, light, and moisture, all of which can degrade the quality of the jerky. Factories use high-tech machines to seal the jerky in airtight bags, sometimes even using vacuum technology to remove all the air from the package. This helps prevent spoilage and keeps the jerky fresh for months. But have you ever noticed how jerky packages sometimes come with a little packet inside? That's an oxygen absorber. It helps remove any remaining oxygen in the package, further extending the shelf life of the jerky. This little packet is a big deal when it comes to preserving the flavor and texture of the product, and there you have it. From a slab of raw beef to a perfectly seasoned, dried and packaged snack, that's how beef jerky is made in the factory. So the next time you tear into a piece of jerky, you'll know exactly what went into making that savory bite. Enjoy! But before we wrap up, here's a little bonus info for all you jerky enthusiasts out there. Did you know that jerky has been around for thousands of years? Ancient cultures used drying and smoking to preserve meat long before refrigeration was invented. Today, we've perfected the process, but the concept remains the same, taking meat and making it last. And jerky isn't just made from beef. While beef is the most popular, you can find jerky made from all sorts of meats like turkey, pork, and even exotic options like venison or alligator. Each type of meat brings its own unique flavor and texture to the table, giving jerky lovers endless options to explore. So, whether you're grabbing a bag for a road trip, a hike, or just a snack at home, remember that you're enjoying a treat that's been crafted with care and expertise. The journey from beef to jerky is a long one, but every step is worth it to bring you that delicious, chewy, and savory snack. Happy snacking!